Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Andy Walker, welcome back to episode 114 of the Missing Links Golf Show.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be back.
Nice. There you go. That was an unexpected opening.
It was. I hadn't expected that, but look,
Yes.
I'm happy to run with it.
Excellent. Well, since we're shouting four at the start of the show, that's probably an indicator that there's been some golf played.
Yeah, and I'm actually a bit excited by it, to be honest with you.
Ooh.
I haven't had a lot of chance this year to play golf, as the programs know. I've been doing a bit of work around the yard, some landscaping and all the rest. Had some drainage issues that was impacting the high performance center. So got those sorted and had a play area I needed to build for my daughter. So that got done as well. And surprisingly, with projects around the house, it took a bit longer. It was a bit harder than what I had anticipated, but I finally finished it last weekend, which was pretty exciting. And now I'm just I've still got a couple of other little projects to do, but nothing like what I've just been through. And I'm also just going to push those onto the back burner. And I've fallen behind in quite a few things, golf being one of them. Got a few projects on it in my business that I want to work on. So yeah, it's time now to do some other things. But yeah, golf. I've actually had a couple of times where I've been out onto the golf course, which is very, very exciting.
It's about time. I think I speak for all of the pilgrims when I say that we have been waiting to hear about your exploits back on the golf course. So This is long overdue, Andy Walker, but good to see that you're back out there. And I've got to ask the question that I know will be on the tip of everybody's tongue. Did you injure yourself in this latest round of golf?
No, I did not. But I think I've found a little bit of assistance with that side. I was actually having a conversation with Ted from Mollymook. And of course, Ted is sort of getting on in years. He'll be 85 in April.
Still shooting his age, though.
Still shooting his age, still doing very well, still playing off like 10 or 11 or something, like phenomenal. Yeah. But he said to me that before he goes out to play golf, he has to pop a Panadol, and just, of course, injuries over the years. He was actually quite a decent squash player in his time, like really competitive squash player, one of the top squash players in New South Wales. But as a result of that, shoulders, knees, ankles, there's lots of stuff that's come up, because squash is pretty hard on your joints, and you're playing on a hard surface.
I would have thought the knees would have got a punishing in squash.
Yeah. So, and of course, you've got to stop really suddenly as well with squash. It's pretty tough on the joints. So he goes out and he pops a Panadol, and it's actually a prescription Panadol. It's an osteo Panadol. So on Saturday, when I was driving, I played 5 holes on Saturday, and when I was driving to the golf course the day before, I'd finished the stuff around the yard, and the last thing that I did was to put these river pebbles out for the last, like, sort of the top of the landscaping. And I got 2 cubic meters of river pebbles delivered. So I got a lot of river pebbles, and digging those out with a shovel and sort of taking those to the areas, wheelbarrow and buckets where the wheelbarrow wouldn't go. It's pretty hard on the joints, and especially sort of the hands with the shovel, digging into these river pebbles. And I got the big ones, the 40 millimeter river pebbles. So what's that in inches? A little bit under sort of 5 foot 40. I thought it was like 2.5 centimeters to the inch. Is it?
It is.
So 40 millimeters sort of,
Is
about sort of three or four.
your maths is terrible.
It is terrible. Yeah. A little bit under 2 millimeters. It's all right. It was an early morning. I got up and played this morning. So in the comp, so that's my second sort of conversation that we're going to have. So I was up at Sparrows this morning, and
that's excellent.
Struggling a little bit this afternoon. But anyway, so 40 millimeter river pebbles got put out. But so the wrists and the joints were a little bit achy. And on the way to golf on Saturday, Arvo, I thought, I'm just going to stop at the supermarket and just grab some Nurofen. Because Nurofen's a little bit stronger than what Panadol is. So I grabbed a packet of Nurofen, popped a couple in, and lo and behold, actually pain from the arthritis. I wouldn't say it disappeared, but certainly from a playability perspective was 100%.
So hang on.
Where they were.
This is breaking news. Pilgrims, strap yourself in here. Andy Walker has discovered that painkillers help reduce pain.
Well, it's quite funny, because the only time I've really taken painkillers is for a headache, or like Panadol and Nurofen, like when I've sort of got a headache. Never really considered it that much, and no one's ever really said anything until I went to the hand and wrist surgeon, that guy about a month ago that I went to see. He said, are you taking any sort of Panadol and Nurofen? And I went, actually no, haven't actually tried that. Anyway, talking to Ted from Mollymook as well, he's like, I'm on the osteo Panadol before a show, so I thought I'd give it a crack, and strangely enough it worked.
Oh man, I don't even know where to go with that. That's so good for you. I'm glad that you finally discovered that Nurofen and Panadol is good treatment for pain.
Yeah. So there you go. So the good thing is that I reckon. So my strategy twofold now. Going to play some more golf, which is good, and I mentioned that last week. Or that I'm, part of my strategy is going to play more golf. But the risks don't really hurt. But when I'm in the high performance center, just hitting a few balls in there, I think it's because I don't, it's not a full round of golf. I'm not really hitting my woods. I've hit my driver a couple of times when I've been. I've started to do some speed training with my driver, certainly just at the end. But it's only sort of half a dozen swings that I'm making. The rest of them are with sort of mid to low irons, and this Panadol or the Nurofen is what I took. That's going to be part of the strategy of actually playing golf more. So I reckon that sort of that twofold strategy of playing a bit more golf, but taking some painkillers might actually work pretty well. So yeah,
excellent. So you played some golf though. So
I did play some golf. So on Saturday, now I only got 5 holes in on Saturday. Then I had a thunderstorm going over. So first round of golf for a couple of months, and I saw the storm on the radar. I could sort of see it on the horizon. I thought, I'm going to go out and just see how many holes I can play. Got through 5, and the thunder and lightning started to get a little bit too close. So. Do you want to be on an open paddock swinging around metal clubs?
Not really.
Yeah, not so much. So I bailed and just spent sort of about 30 minutes on the practice putting green, sort of watching the storm come in, and then bailed after that. So a couple of things of note. It was a little bit scrappy. There wasn't anything sort of that meaningful that I took out of it, but a couple of noteworthy comments. Firstly, when when I'm actually got it in the slot, and you remember sort of last year when I started making some of the swing changes to try and get more, get out of over the top and getting more on plane and having the plane of my downswing shallower than the plane of my backswing, which is what sort of Ben Hogan talked about in his book. And I started hitting it further. I started hitting it sort of half a club further. I really noticed that on Saturday in that I actually started hitting it a lot further after the first sort of couple of holes where I sort of scrapped around a little bit. The fourth, which is a par three, I was exactly 145 meters from the flag, and 145 meters for me is just a good solid 7 iron. That's pretty much right on my number for 145 meters. And I've hit this shot that started at the flag and drew to the left-hand side of the green, but it went about 10 meters. I got up there and it was about 10 meters past the flag. So it's gone about 155 meters. And I'm going, oh, that's interesting. I mean, I know I hit it pretty well, but and there was no breeze or anything like that. It was sort of that calm before the storm type weather. So, there shouldn't have been anything that allowed me to hit it further. But I thought, okay, well, that's pretty good, and I actually got it in the slot in the position that I wanted it to. So I sort of went, oh, well, that's really interesting. I'll sort of just put that in the memory bank, and just sort of keep that for as a little bit of information that may come in handy.
I'm assuming that you flushed it as well.
Oh yeah, hit it pretty good, and it was just. And as you know, and I mentioned I'm doing a little bit of speed training in the High Performance Center, and I've actually pulled out the old Garmin. I think it's the G80, the launch monitor.
Oh, yeah.
The old one that I had the little incident with in the first couple of episodes. So I've still got that refurbished one that Garmin sent me, and I'm finding that so the Square isn't picking up clubhead speed, and I just don't quite know why it's not picking up clubhead speed, but it's not.
Have you got you've got the tape on your shafts?
Yeah, I've got the tape on. Yep. And they're still not picking up clubhead speed. So it's a little bit strange. I'm going to have to just do a little work on it and see if I can figure it out.
Too much sunlight, perhaps, in the High Performance Center.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not sure what it is. But the Garmin's still good, and I mean that's what I was using when I was doing speed training with the stack, and I pulled it out again, recharged it, and so I've been doing a little bit of speed training, and I started off with the driver, sort of about the sort of 105, 106. And I sent you some stats the other day, and I got up. So the maximum club head speed that I got to the other day was 116 miles per hour. So that's sort of right smack bang on the average for the PGA Tour. Mind you, I was going full tilt at this, so that's obviously not my golf course speed. And my ball speed was 163 miles per hour. So I was pretty happy with that too. But just before, I think it was Thursday or Friday night, when I was in the High Performance Center, I just started swinging normally with a driver with the Garmin G80, and what I would classify as my golf course speed was 110 miles per hour. And that's with sort of, a few of these little swing changes and grooving a couple of these little swing changes. So I think that from a club head speed, what I'm trying to achieve is having an impact on my club head speed. And I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago when I got those couple of lessons and I got on the TrackMan, the data from the TrackMan said my peak club head speed was actually before impact.
Yeah.
And that was due to the sort of the casting and the over the top. And I was, my club head, I was having to slow the club head down through to impact. So so it didn't sort of whip through and hit the dreaded snap hook that's been plaguing my game for the last few years. So it would seem that the changes that I'm making, are giving me a bit more club head speed without too much sort of more effort. I guess I'm just being as I normally would on the golf course, and my club head speed has increased, about 5%, which I'm pretty happy with.
Awesome.
Yeah. So just a little, and I won't go into too much detail as to what I'm doing, but yeah, I've been on the famous YouTube University, and there are a couple of channels that I'm really following closely, which relate to how I want to swing the club and what makes sense to me, but also around. So the Titleist TPI channel is one of them, and Greg Rose talks about, and he's talking a bit at the moment about force plates, and the force plates that the Titleist TPI uses are from a manufacturer called Smart Move, or Smart 2 Move, and they've also got a YouTube channel as well. So I've been doing some research and just listening on YouTube University and their channels just on force plates and sort of ground forces, and how golfers, and especially the top golfers today, use ground forces. And it's been a bit of a revelation, because I've heard about ground forces for a little while, but I never really knew what they mean. Like, I didn't know what it meant, that because you see, and I think I always think back to Justin Thomas, and like you see him at impact, and both his feet are almost off the ground.
But that's not. It's not necessarily about trying to jump as you're hitting the ball.
No,
obviously, different things at play.
But it's the ground force that allows him to do that, and I'm implementing some of that, and I'll never get to where Justin Thomas is, but it's allowing me to my weight distribution, and this was sort of part of it, is that my weight transition through impact, I wasn't getting to my lead side well enough. I was sort of hanging a bit back on my trail side, which, with the early extension and, twisting out of the out of the swing, that makes a lot of sense. So the weight transition onto my lead side is key to that. But then trying to get the weight into my lead toe.
So, it's an interesting topic when you're talking about using ground forces and really kind of mechanically using everything in your body to get the most out of your swing. If you look at some of the LPGA players, some of the women's swings, they do it better generally because they don't possess the upper body strength that a lot of the men do.
Yeah.
And you see the use of, like there's a move that a lot of them have with the straightening of the front leg just before impact, which is like really that driving that lead hip backwards to get the rotation through the ball. So I think there's probably a lot to be gained as, amateur golfers that don't have club head speeds that the PGA Tour players possess, but also potentially middle-aged golfers possibly learning how to use their body a little bit more effectively by looking at the way that the women play. So I think there's something in that.
Yeah, or what that move, that weight transition, it's really sort of in the transition from your backswing into your downswing. That weight transition and transitioning it into your lead toe then allows you to use the ground to then push back, and the last movement is that twist.
Yeah, that's the old the swivel chair one that Greg Rose talks about.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So, but the problem that I had is that I wasn't actually getting the weight into my lead toe to be able to
to be able to
swivel
do
off
that.
it in the first place.
Yeah. So you're
So,
just going
and
to
that's
spin
where
out.
sort of, yeah, that's where getting a bit of an understanding of ground force and where that weight transition needs to be has really helped me a lot to be able to get that. So, that's probably a little bit more detail than what I thought I was going to go into, but yeah, that's sort of the concept that I'm working on at the moment. And the other part of that is that once you get sort of the weight transition and what I'm doing, it actually puts the club in a much better position at the start of the downswing than what it does, obviously, if you're sort of hanging back on your trail side, where really then the only move you can make is over the top and across it, which is where you get a fade or a slice from, but quite an inconsistent ball strike, which again has been my issue for a number of years and what I'm trying to get out of. So yeah, so that's been a bit of a revelation, and I started to sort of get an understanding of that on Saturday. That okay, well, in making these moves, it looks as though, or it seems as though my club head speed is increasing just as a natural result of getting in the right positions and having my weight transition in an efficient manner and getting the ground forces working as I need them to be. So that's sort of where I was taking my game into the comp round this morning. Which again, sort of first comp round. While I played 5 holes on Saturday, first comp round I've played since just before New Year's when your good self and Mick Patterson,
That was a while ago now.
yeah, went out and had a comp round. So haven't played in a comp since then. So I wasn't expecting too much. I went out there going, whatever happens, happens. I haven't, first comp round for the year. Haven't really played too much. Yeah, was in making all these changes. I didn't think consistency was something I should expect. If I was basically thinking if I can go out and hit some good shots, get myself into some good positions on, half a dozen, maybe 10 shots, then I'd be pretty happy with that. And at least it's something to work on and something to run with. So teed off this morning, 8:12 tee time. A couple of scrappy first two shots, par five, the first. Hit a really good approach. Now, as you know, I've been also doing some work on my wedge game, sort of between sort of 50 to 100 meters. So working with obviously the Square and the awesome golf software to be able to sharpen up sort of those distances. And I can really feel, and even on Saturday, I could really feel those distances. I'm a lot more confident, and the strike and the spin as the ball comes off the club is significantly better, feels better, looks better, and you can see there's a fair bit more control there. So yeah, hit a really good approach from 83 meters, two putted for par. Had a regulation par at the second. On the third, I personal opinion, I know you feel the same way. Third, I don't think great hole at my home club. There's
Worst hole on the golf course.
yeah, the tees sort of jut out to the fairway, probably maybe 150, 160 meters from the tee when you're playing from the forward markers, and yeah, it's sort of then you've got a bunker and a water hazard down the right hand side. So there's really like to hit a driver is really risky. So you've got to hit an iron off the tee, but then you're left with a fairly significant, 170, 180 meter second shot. to a green that's sort of diagonally from left to right, fairly long, with then sort of guarded with bunkers short and long. So I don't like the hole that much, but it's something I've got to play because it's
You don't have a choice. I mean, I'm
don't have a choice.
I'm never one for cutting trees down, particularly beautiful old gums like you've got there. But those ones that are on the fairway, they just need to go if that's to be a golf hole. Because if they weren't there, then you've got risk reward of hitting driver with a water hazard on the right. And no worries, I'll take it on. And if I put it in the hazard, then I'll take a penalty, but at least I can play a good shot. But you can't do that. Like there's nowhere to hit your tee shot. It's a ridiculously stupid hole, and I'm sorry. It's a terrible golf hole. It's where golf goes to die, and it's
I agree.
It's dreadful. But anyway,
the fairway bunker off the tee was 176 meters to the front lip, and I thought that's I've got to hit a pretty good 4-iron to be able to get to the bunker. I did aim slightly left of the bunker. It's sort of in between the fairway bunker and that first tree on the left hand side that juts out onto the fairway. I actually hit a really good 4-iron that felt really good. Felt like it was in the slot. Leaked slightly and landed on the full into the fairway bunker.
Oh.
So that shot.
Sorry, my other issue with your home club is the quality of the bunkers.
Yeah. So that shot with my 4-iron, Arcos is telling me was 183 meters. Now that's my 4-iron. My standard distance with a 4-iron is 175 meters. So again, I sort of, when I went to the bunker, and like it's dead in the bunker, I had to hit a 9-iron out. It's only 110 meters, and which was obviously still short of the green. But walking up there, I was like, wow, like that's a decent sort of yardage for or meterage as it would be for a 4-iron. I'm going to have to be sort of careful today as to what my club selection is. But then you're going through my mind going, all right, so then do I play for getting into the slot or do I play for mile distances? Oh. And so I started to sort of,
what a nightmare.
Have this mental language of just trying to just second guessing myself. But
so what did you do out of curiosity? How did you decide to approach it?
Inconsistently, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's smart. Yeah. Yeah, that's really, it's good.
We'll
how long have we been doing this for now?
Well, I mean, I've been playing golf for 40 years almost, and still can't get it right. But anyway, so I hit a 9-iron out, hit a really poor 58-degree wedge that didn't even get to the green. Just chunked it, but I was close enough to be able to putt and two-putted for an easy bogey. Now on the fourth, again, the fourth was the par 3 that I played on Saturday. That I was 145 meters hitting a 7-iron.
Mm-hmm.
This one was 142 meters, so it was a little bit short of my standard 7-iron distance, and I didn't want to take an 8-iron. Because I didn't think I was going to get there with an 8-iron, and I thought, okay, well, if you just punch, grip down on a 7-iron, hit a good punch shot to the green, it should sort of work out quite well. And I have absolutely drilled this 3/4 7-iron, and Arcos is telling me it went 154 meters. So again,
what do you do?
3/4, and this was only a 3/4 7-iron, which went, and I absolutely flushed it. Like it was one of my better ball strikes of the day.
Yeah.
But again, looked good, really good shape, just slight draw, and ended up right on the back fringe, which I then sort of two putted for par.
Funnily enough as well, sometimes those 3/4, what you think's a 3/4 swing, is just a better tempo full swing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's I wouldn't have expected even a full swing 7 iron, and adjusting for hitting it a bit further. And so I hit it a club further, that would be about the same distance. It'd be sort of 154,
Yeah.
155 meters. So potentially, yeah, potentially you're right. So I had a fairly scrappy par at 5. Par 5, actually, they're redoing the tees. So the tee, the white tees were up, almost to the reds, and it should have been a fairly easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy birdie hole, but it was a reachable into par 5, and I just hit a fairly poor second shot, and then hit a 50-yard pitch shot into the bunker and got up and down for par.
Wow,
So
yeah, scrappy.
it was it was one of those holes that was just really scrappy. But had a good comeback at 6, in that I hit a good wedge right at the flag that landed about sort of 8 feet short of the flag and sort of jagged back about 10 feet. 2-putted for par. Another sloppy bogey at 7, where I leaked my drive into sort of a clump of trees, but I had a shot to the green. But I needed to just punch a 6-iron, one of those sort of, punch run 6-irons. And I just hit a really poor shot and pitched onto the green and 2 putts. 7, par 5. Sorry, the 8th, which is a par 5. Hit a really good 3 utility up the middle of the fairway. Hit a 4-iron, which again was just in the slot. Like, it was one of my better swings of the day, and just felt really, really good, and felt like I got into the positions that I want. Had a 70-meter pitch over the water to the green, and as you know, with the 8th green, that's a fairly shallow green, and then towards the right hand side of the green, there's it's sort of there's two tiers, and it was on the bottom tier. So what I thought is, okay, well, I want to hit this 70-meter pitch. I want to land it just past the flag and catch the tier, and jag it back towards the flag. And I hit this 70-meter pitch that was exactly as I wanted it to. Landed about sort of 2-3 meters past the flag, landed into the tier and jagged back and rolled over the lip to about half a meter.
Ooh, almost eagle.
Yeah, it was one of those shots and I'll remember that. You know how you have these shots where you just put them away in your memory bank and go, I remember that shot, because it was such a good shot. So that's going to be one that I put away in the memory bank to pull out when I'm in a fairly similar position. But again, coming back to doing that practice with the wedge play, I don't think I would have been able to hit a shot like that if I hadn't been working on those shots in the high performance center. So it's been pretty good.
Nice.
So on 9, I hit a tee shot on 9 that, because I'm trying to transition onto my lead side, I just got too far ahead of it. And my whole body got ahead of where I needed to be, and I just hit this sort of weak heel sort of slider to the right that was lucky not to go in the hazard, to be honest with you. But I was blocked out. I had no shot to the green across the water, so I had to sort of pitch up at about an 80-meter pitch up to the end of the fairway, and then again about an 80-meter pitch back to the flag, and again hit a really, really good pitch that I thought was covering the flag like to the number, and it landed about 10 feet short of the flag and jagged back to about 20 feet short. So I was actually quite disappointed with that shot, because again it was just a really good, solid and looked good, felt good, flighted wedge shot from about 80 meters. So
but you're hitting into a steep kind of uphill green at that point from that angle there too. Yeah, so it's always going to jag. That's true.
So I was pretty happy with the shot, but again, sort of two putts for bogey. So finished with two over for the nine,
Solid golf.
and going. You know what? For what I was expecting,
Mm.
I was pretty happy with that. I mean, it hits a couple of sort of sloppy shots, a couple of scrappy shots, but I'd hit a couple of really good shots that just I got into the slot and got into the positions that I wanted to and came out really, really well. So I was reasonably happy with the front nine. Went across to 10, and of course I was so still thinking about how happy I was with the front nine. I made a really sloppy bogey, and I was just I just mentally wasn't with it. I know. I just mentally wasn't with it, and I realised it as I was walking into the 11th tee. I just went, "That's just so sloppy." I was just mentally elsewhere.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's giving one back to the golf course at that point.
Yeah, and it was like I hit a decent tee shot, but then I couldn't go for the green in two, so I hit a 4-iron just to sort of lay up short of where the hazard is. So there's a hazard that sort of starts maybe about 100 meters short on the left hand side, and I didn't want to sort of go left, and as you know, there's a hazard that sort of runs all the way down the right hand side.
Yeah.
So I just hit this sort of sloppy little 4-iron. And I had 104 meters to the flag, and I pulled out my wedge to hit a nice little sort of punch wedge to the flag, and just like mentally just wasn't with it. And I just hit this weak bladey that just went right, leaked right, hit the side of the green and sort of bounced a little bit sort of further to the right, and just the up, it was an easy up and down, and I just again just mentally wasn't sharp to be able to get it up and down. So it was pretty disappointing sort of walking off 10th tee, but I sort of gave myself a bit of a kick up the rear and thought, you know what, just get your head back into the game.
Did you have a snack?
I did have a snack, actually. I like the little they're probably not international, but they sell them at the local supermarket, Tom and Luke's protein balls.
Yes, I'm a big fan.
The peanut and cacao protein balls.
I like the salty caramel personally.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good as well. So so fan of the Tom and Luke. So I had a couple of those walking to the 11th tee.
They are good.
Yeah.
And Tom and or Luke, if you're listening, get in contact. We could do a deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So on 11, made a good par at 11. On 12 is a par 3. And again, I was 147 meters to the flag. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to hit a 7-iron, and I'll just try and hit a good, solid, smooth 7-iron. Felt really good over the ball and just hit this awful weak cut right into the bunker. It was one of my sort of worst swings of the day. I don't know where it came from, because standing over the ball, I was actually going, I'm going to hit a really good shot here. And it
happens. It happens. It's golf, right? Like every now and then that can happen. So what do you do?
So I didn't get up and down because it was a bit of a coming out of the bunker to a sort of downhill to the flag. Ran it about sort of 20 feet past and missed the one coming back. So
and we've already covered the quality of those bunkers, so that all plays into it.
Strolled across to 13, my nemesis hole. Hit my standard 4-iron down the fairway. I had 168 meters to the flag, and it was slightly into the wind. Now, it wasn't directly into the wind. It was sort of, as I was facing the flag, it was sort of coming in from sort of right diagonally and across. But it was definitely hurting, and I thought, okay, well, my standard 5-iron distance is 165 meters. This is 168. I thought, you know what, I'm going to hit a 5-iron and hit the same sort of shot as what I hit on the fourth, which is sort of a choke down 3/4 5-iron. And I have absolutely drilled it at the flag. It's landed on the back of the green and bounced over.
Oh, no.
So Arcos is telling me I hit that 5-iron 181 meters into the wind. Now, I don't hit an 8-iron that far. I can tell you.
Or a 5-iron.
I do not hit an 8-iron. I don't hit a 5-iron, 181 meters. I just don't. Mind you, in saying that, it should have been a pretty simple up and down, and it was a bit of a. Well, actually, I hit a reasonable chip shot. I hit my landing spot, but it was sort of in the rough, and it sort of just popped out, landed close to my landing spot, and just didn't roll out as I thought it would. And it was about 8 feet, and I thought I hit a good putt, but it just didn't. The putt it was a misread. It didn't do what I thought it was going to. So again, sort of made a bogey. But I sort of felt a little bit hard done by, because I felt like. And certainly the second shot, it was a really, really good shot straight at the flag. I actually thought we're off the club, and in those first couple of seconds of watching the ball flight, I thought it was going to be right next to the flag, but unfortunately, it just kept going, which isn't ideal. 14, hit a pretty ordinary tee shot that was lucky not to go into the hazard. I was only maybe half a metre from the hazard in a really thick lie, and could only just chunk it out down the fairway. Hit a pretty ordinary pitch. Just the strike was all right, just hit it too hard and was on the back fringe, and 2-putted for bogey. 15 par 5, hit a really good tee shot down the middle of the fairway. And I stood over the second, and as you know, there's a hazard that sort of comes, short of the green. It sort of comes in maybe at about the 120 meter mark. It sort of really juts into the fairway, and then goes all the way down the left-hand side of the fairway, and just runs all the way around the green. It got
me last time.
So what I usually do with my second shot, I normally hit my second shot down just short of where it starts to really sort of come out onto the fairway. And I had Arcos, and but the sun was sort of directly behind me, and I couldn't quite see what the measurements were. So I sort of put my hand over the measurements, and I thought it said to carry the fairway bunkers 171 meters. So I hit a 4-iron, and I hit it straight into the fairway bunker.
Right.
And then I pulled the phone off my buggy, and actually had a look at it, and it was actually 181 meters to carry the water, and it was 203 meters down to the hazard. So I should have actually hit my 3 utility. And again, it was just one of those. I don't know if it's a mental mistake. It was more just a careless. That's what I think it is, rather than taking my time. But I had a 123 meter shot from the fairway bunker, which 125 meters is my stock standard 9-iron. And because it's a fairway bunker, again, the way that I play a fairway bunker shot is I choke down on it and sort of hit a 3/4 9-iron. Absolutely drilled this 9-iron and airmailed the green.
Unexpected.
So I hit this 9-iron from the fairway bunker, according to Arcos, 154 meters.
That's ridiculous.
Now, the breeze was helping slightly. So it was sort of the opposite direction to 13. But I just, I checked my club to make sure I had the right club.
Yeah, not a 6-iron. Yeah.
like just could not believe I'd actually airmailed the green from a fairway bunker with my 9 iron. But anyway, I did. Should have been a relatively straightforward up and down, but I had hit a fairly poor pitch and two putted for bogey. So I'm on the train.
I was going to say,
bogeys in a row.
Had you purchased a ticket at this point?
I was thinking about it. I was actually quite frustrated at this point.
I find that hard to believe.
I didn't feel as though I'd done a lot wrong.
Didn't think you deserved to be on the train?
I did a couple of poor shots, but just didn't think I deserved to be on the train. But anyway, I was.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get to 16 and I thought, you know what, let's just get back into the game. Hit a really good drive. I was 82 meters to the flag, and again just hit with my 54-degree gap wedge. Hit one of those wedges that just covered the flag. Landed about 8 feet past and just danced all over the flag.
Nice.
I actually sort of spun a couple of times, sort of went one way, then you know those shots where one goes one way, then it sort of jags off the green the other way.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Did that.
Yep.
And then ended up about 8 feet short of the pin. So I had an 8 foot uphill putt and just pulled it and missed it, which was pretty disappointing. But pretty simple par, which was good. Yeah. On 17, 17 is the par 3, which is surrounded by water with a bunker along the left. I was 94 meters and decided to hit my 50-degree wedge, and again just absolutely drilled this 54-degree wedge that covered the flag all over it, landed on the back of the green and jagged back to about 8 feet,
nice.
Slightly above the hole, but a nice 8 feet birdie putt. And I actually hit a really good putt, exactly where I wanted to, but just
coming here.
Just misread it, and it went now. Right to so it was what I read was a right to left putt, which was would have gone down to the water, and you think that's when the green slopes right to left down to water that it would break right to left. Well,
no, obviously not.
Not so much with that putt I had on 17. So anyway, I walked off with a pretty easy par, but last couple of holes, 2 8 feet, pretty makeable birdie putts that obviously, you can't make all of them, but I would have thought that I should have made one of them. But anyway, that was a bit disappointing.
You're probably, what are you? You're about 50% at 8 feet is the stud, isn't it? So, yeah, to miss both of them, you probably feel like you've lost a shot. Yeah,
and they were right to left putts. One was uphill and the other one was slightly downhill, but even still, I felt like I had the right line, and they should have been makeable putts. But
maybe anyway, you should have been putting left-handed at this point.
Maybe. Anyway, on 18, so I'm 7 over, needing par to break 80. Hit a really good 4 fairway. Up the left-hand side of the fairway. Now, as you know, there's a hazard pretty much all the way from the tee, and the fairway snakes around to the left around this water hazard, and the hazard goes all the way up to the green.
See, I'd say this hole is a par 4.5.
Yeah, it is. It's especially into the wind, which the wind started to come up a little bit.
Super tough golf hole.
Yeah, it is. And this is also started. Well, it had started to be a little bit of a nemesis hole for me because of my tendency to hit. Yeah. The overdraw.
Yeah.
I'd
snap overdraw.
Yeah. I'd hit quite a few into the hazard over the past few months. So. But I stood over the shot on 18 and actually felt really good. Hadn't hit a snap hook all day. So I hit absolutely drilled a 4 fairway wood up the left-hand side, effectively sort of covering sort of the left rough. Took one bounce and just ended up just slightly into the left rough, but still in a good position. I had 168 meters, again, exactly the same yardage as what I had on 13, and thought, you know what, I'm going to hit my 5-iron again, and if I can hit exactly the same shot, I'll be pretty happy. And hit again one of those shots where I just got too far in front of it, and just hit this leak, sort of cutty slice right shot that landed sort of short and right, even short of the greenside bunkers. And I had this hard pan lie, probably about maybe about 20 meters. This hard pan lie that had to hit sort of just over the corner of the bunker, didn't have a lot of green to work with. And I just hit this really nice nip, 58 degree, that landed once, jagged, and just rolled out to about a meter from the hole, and made the little left to right 1 meter putt for par to break 80.
Beautiful. That's a good round of golf.
So look, I'm
no doubles,
no snap hooks,
solid. No injuries.
So no injuries. I did say when I was driving to the golf course, if I break 80 today, I'll be pretty happy.
Were you pretty happy, or were you a liar?
I was a liar.
Yeah, I knew it.
In looking back, I felt like I just wasted a lot of shots. I had quite a few sloppy bogeys. I had a couple of really simple up and downs that I 8 out of 10 times you should make them. And then there's a couple of shots that I thought I was a bit hard done by, where I airmailed the green. So, look, by the time I'd gotten to the car, put my clubs in the car and got in the car and was on my way home, I was going, you know what, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Walking off the 18th tee, I was going, wow, that's a little bit of a waste. And I wasted a shot here and I wasted a shot here, and that could have been, 36 points or, 37 points. But yeah, as I said, by the time I'd sort of jumped in the car and was on my way home, I started thinking about it, going, you know what, I haven't played in 2 months in a comp. I'm just starting to, for my 2026 journey and where I want my golf game to go, it's a good base for me to be able to springboard into the year. So yeah, disappointed walking off the golf course, but now that I've had some time to digest and think about it, I'm pretty happy with it, and I feel really positive about 2026 and where the golf game is.
I personally think that you should be extremely happy with that as a round of golf. I think if you'd bogeyed the last, you probably would have walked off grumpy. Like I think that made a difference. But look, let's look at a few facts that have come out of it, right? First and foremost, and most importantly, you haven't come off clutching your wrist going, oh my God, where is my golf future heading, and am I going to be able to, properly play golf? And
if I'd only heard about Nurofen 12 months ago.
I can't believe that. Anyway, but the point is, like, that in itself, pain-free golf, you've got around 18 holes, you haven't had another crisis moment. That's a massive positive, right? Huge positive. Yep. Huge. So I think that in itself, even if you shot 90, you could still feel pretty happy about the fact that you've got around relatively pain-free.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be happy if I shot 90. That's not how I'd see it.
I use hyperbole for a reason. I also think the front nine was super encouraging, and then and then there's obviously got on the train for 4 holes in the middle of the second nine, which is a little bit frustrating, and if not for that, then it would have been obviously a much better score. But at the same time, you got off the train and you finished with 3 pars in a row, which is, again, really good to be able to pull that concentration back, because it's not surprising after not having played a lot of golf that mentally you would get a bit fatigued on the second 9. I think that's to be expected, because it's golf's tough, and concentrating for 18 holes and staying on it is tough.
And also making swing changes, and especially how early on I am in that journey, and nothing's really grooved. I know the positions that I want to get into, but it's a different thing on the second 9, especially and I feel like I had a reasonably good front 9, 18 points, 2 over. Going into the second 9 with the potential of having a good score. There is a little bit of, I don't know if nerves is the right word. I don't feel like I was nervous or I was under any pressure, but there still is that.
There's tension.
Yeah, there still is that possibility I could score today.
Yeah.
And there's that little bit of tension that's still there. That
it's just enough.
And golf's one of those games that, especially if you swing slightly out, that golf will find you out.
Absolutely.
So it's only natural that the timing goes out a little bit, and things get a little bit, I wouldn't say sloppy or scrappy, but it just it's not going to be as sharp as what it was on the front 9. But I still feel as though I hit a lot of good shots, and I sort of the swing held up under a little bit of tension without resorting to that, without the snap hook coming out. And that's the one thing that I'm trying, this whole sort of journey that I'm trying to go through with my swing is when I get into those situations so that the snap hook doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And that's been my nemesis for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another positive. I mean, the no doubles is a huge positive. So I think there's a lot of positives, honestly, that come out of that. And it's funny, like you have a round where you go, it was almost good. It could have been better. You can feel a little bit frustrated and forget to take away some of the good things that actually happen. And then there's other days when, you make 25 points and it really did stink. And then you'd look at today's round and go, oh, if only I was shooting a 79 again, and, worrying about whether or not it was 33 points or 36 points. So I think it's easy to see the negatives, and we've talked about this on so many occasions about how our brains are wired to see the negatives, to learn the lessons to save us from the saber-toothed tigers. But sometimes it's you have to remind yourself of the positives, and I think in this round there was a lot of them. So I would, if I was you, I'd be really happy with that as a step back into comp golf for this year.
Yeah. And I am now, again, now that I've digested it a bit.
Yeah.
I am. You know what it feels like? It sort of, I feel similar, because when we first started the podcast, I hadn't really played golf at all, and it took me a little while to get into the swing of things. And I started to on a Saturday afternoon, I remember I used to go out and play some holes, and in that sort of end of February, early March period, I sort of felt it, but it wasn't transitioning to really good golf scores.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden in April, it flicked. The switch just flipped straight over. I shot that even par, then I shot the 2 under, and I was off and away until I injured myself. But I sort of feel as though my golf game is back there, whereas it's not going to take too much to start playing some really good golf again, and somewhere around, I'm not going to say that I'll, be under par too often, but somewhere in that par 2 and 3 over is going to be a pretty reasonable target, I reckon, in the not too distant future with what I felt today.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. That's exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Andy Walker.
Yeah, I'm a bit excited by the latest developments over the last week or so, which is good. So just on that though, just going through some strokes gain data for today. So breaking it down in compared to a scratch golfer, my driving was minus 2.1. Now again, I think it was probably a bit better than that, but that was due to me playing fairly conservatively off the tees at my home club.
Yeah.
My approach play was minus 2.7, and that feels about right. I feel as though I hit some really, really good shots, but they didn't quite end up where I wanted them to, and then I hit a couple of pretty ordinary ones as well. Short game minus 1. I didn't think my short game was that good. I thought there were a couple of up and downs that I really should have made. And putting minus 0.9. Which I feel is about, pretty close. I didn't really make too much over sort of 4 or 5 feet, but I didn't miss anything inside of 4 or 5 feet either. So it was one of those days where, I didn't make a lot medium to long putts, but I was pretty solid, inside that 4 or 5 feet circle. So yeah, not overly. Not great, but not overly, not setting the golf course on fire. So 7 out of 13 fairways hit, 8 out of 18 greens in regulation.
That's going to obviously put you under a bit of pressure playing off 4, hitting 8 greens.
Yeah.
Short game wise.
Yeah. And that's where especially those easy up and downs where you just miss the green and you're in the either sort of, fringe or the light rough.
Yeah.
You need, and especially when you got plenty of green to work with, and it's a pretty straightforward up and down. You should be making those 8 out of 10 times, but yeah, I didn't make those today. Again, a little bit of stuff to work on. That'll be my Saturday afternoon, and I'm pretty committed to that. I really enjoyed going out and playing a few holes on Saturday afternoon. So for me, if I can sort of leave here at 2:00 and get to the golf course, maybe spend half hour 45 minutes around the pitching green, spend half an hour on the putting green, then go and play. I might not get 9 holes in, but maybe half a dozen holes. I'm pretty excited to be able to put that back into the regular scheduling.
Absolutely. Makes a big difference too. So
yeah.
Very good. Oh well, excellent news, Andy Walker. It's good to see you back out there playing some competitive golf.
Yeah, it feels good. Good, I must admit.
Now, you're not the only one that's played some competitive golf.
I have heard that
recently. So, Pilgrims, you'll be happy to know that at an hour and 3 minutes into the episode, we're not going to now pivot and talk about my round of golf. We're going to save that till the next episode. But I'll say this, Andy Walker. I'll say this. You know how I've been battling a little off the tee lately, which we've talked about.
Yep.
Well, I'm not going to give too many spoilers about what happened in the round of golf, but I have figured out why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to let that hang. We're going to talk about that next week.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I figured out what's been going on, and it is a very simple technical issue. So,
okay. Is it the same issue with your putting is what it is?
No, it isn't. No. Yeah. Although I do think that it rears its head a little bit on short game, strangely enough.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
Yep.
Right.
There's a similar theme. We'll talk about that next week, Pilgrims. So just we'll leave that one there for you to think about. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah. In a couple of weeks' time as well, I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of a deep dive into some of the things. We sort of dove a little bit into it this evening, but I think there are some really good lessons that the Pilgrims can potentially take out of the
Ed Sheeran concert.
the progress that I've been making, because that's one of the, the pretty common tendencies of amateur golfers is the cast and the over the top. So and while I'm not going to get too down into the weeds with it, I think that there are some good summary lessons to learn from this deep dive that I've been having. So I'll do a bit of preparation, and we can talk about that after your rounds next week.
Sounds good, Andy Walker. That's a bit of a plan and a way forward. Pilgrims, get out there, hit them straight as as best you can, and get your scores in for the yearly championship, because the month of February is going to come to a close in the not too distant future. So you need to get those scores in there, and we'll be looking at that again in the next couple of episodes.
How am I looking with 33 points?
Not sure.
Oh,
too early to tell. You're in front of me, so that's a bit of a spoiler.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, but there you go. But in the interim, Andy Walker, until that happens, what should the Pilgrims do? Any advice? Anything that
look,
think?
After the last few days and how I'm feeling, I think there's
actually
really,
before just before you get there.
You've cut me off.
Man. Yeah, I have. I have deliberately,
wow.
because it just reminded me of what you've been doing so much of recently with shoveling the river pebbles, and whether or not that's got any relevance to what you might do between now and next episode. I'll leave that with you to think about, Andy Walker. Any parallels that you want to draw?
Wow. Or given pebbles, rocks, I'm assuming that that's where you're going with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So yes. Yeah. The one thing I've been doing recently, and going to do a fair bit, well, not literally a bit more of it, but a lot more of it. So yeah, but one thing left to do. Rock out, Pilgrims.
Nice. Thanks for listening to us today. We love hearing from our Pilgrims, so please reach out to us through any of the links in the show notes. We know golf is hard, so we hope we can help you shoot better scores and inspire you to keep trying. Rock on, Pilgrims.